Hey guys, so I've been working on this game for a couple of days now, and I've been working on learning the countries for a while now, and I'm going to be coming out with a few other geography based games. They've all been done before, but I have a lot of fun doing them. But this is going to be one of my first times doing a game while I'm talking you guys through my actual thought process, and we'll see how that goes. So, Turkey and Netherlands. Pretty sure Turkey is bigger, much bigger. Ecuador and Turkey. Ecuador is smaller. Myanmar is smaller. It's up there next to Vietnam. It is much bigger. And I'm off to a great start. North Korea and Botswana. Botswana's down in Africa, so it's got to be bigger. Chad and Botswana. Chad is bigger. Laos is up there next to Vietnam again, much smaller. Liberia is the tiny L1 in Africa, so I'm going to say it's smaller. North Macedonia is tiny, but it's in Europe, so I'm going to say it's smaller. Kenya, definitely bigger. Ethiopia and Kenya, they're right next to each other. I always get confused which one's which when I'm looking at a map. I'm going to say Ethiopia is bigger. Yeah, much bigger. Bulgaria is tiny. Solomon Islands are really tiny. The Netherlands, we had that earlier in this. Iraq is always deceptively large, and Iran is even bigger. United States is huge. Nicaragua is tiny. Central America is all tiny. Myanmar, again, we had this one earlier, and it confused me, and it's huge, apparently. United Arab Emirates is tiny. Sierra Leone, this is another one that's in Africa, and it always throws me off. I'm going to say it's big. Close. Not bad. I'll try that again. Equatorial Guinea and Congo. All the Congos are huge. Jordan is tiny. Central African Republic is also big, but not as big as the Congos. Burundi is a tiny African one. Netherlands, again, we've seen that one a few times. Cambodia is probably bigger. Yeah. Estonia is probably smaller. I almost misclicked. Niger is huge. India is one of the biggest. Angola's tinier. Guatemala is a tiny country. Iceland's even smaller. Not much, apparently. Georgia is tiny. Austria is small, but gotta be bigger, right? Iran is even bigger than Iraq, and Iraq is huge. Nigeria is probably much bigger. Ooh, not much bigger. Let's go again. Argentina and Burkina Faso, tiny comparatively, of course. USA is huge. China and USA are both huge, but I think China's bigger. Clearly, just barely. Macedonia is tiny. Kyrgyzstan, that I'm probably saying totally wrong. Bulgaria is smaller than the other Baltics. Albania, I think, is smaller. I haven't looked at Europe in a little bit. Yeah, thought so. Spain is easy comparatively. Rwanda, again, it's in Africa. And Africa's just so big, but I'm going to say it's smaller. Oh, yeah, much smaller. Nigeria is huge. Laos, no way. Tajikistan, I think that one's the small one. Comparatively. Solomon Islands are still tiny. I always get those confused with Marshall Islands and Micronesia and Indonesia. Pakistan's got to be bigger. Eritrea is smaller. Romania, I'm going to say, is smaller because it's, wow, much bigger. I want to break this 15 this video. Azerbaijan or Tajikistan. Tajikistan's got to be bigger. Iran is bigger. Venezuela, this is another one that always throws me off of how big it is, but I don't think it's bigger than Iran. Finland is also big, but nowhere near as big. Niger, again, is huge. Tunisia is one of the smaller African countries. Uruguay is in South America, sorry. Clearly I'm thinking things through before I say them. I'm going to say it's bigger. Only barely. Gabon is a tiny African one, but clearly not that tiny. Zambia and Denmark. Denmark is tiny. USA, easy. Belarus, easy. Benin is tiny. Indonesia, that's big. Austria is much smaller than that. Argentina is bigger. That's, again, it throws me off because it's in South America. Somalia has that huge coastline. I'm going to say it's bigger. It is much bigger. South Korea, even the Koreas are much bigger than I think they are. Uruguay, I just got this one wrong. Okay. Bulgaria, I think, is smaller, right? Yep. Tajikistan. Gonna do maybe two more. Guinea-Bissau is tiny. Greece is also small, but not that small. Uruguay. I'm gonna remember how big Uruguay is one day. Bolivia is bigger than Uruguay? Yeah, much bigger. Mexico is even bigger than that. North Korea, not that big, even though, again, the size throws me off. The Guineas are all pretty small, except except for Papua New Guinea. Rwanda is tiny. That was really too close for comfort, though. Mongolia is huge. All the islands are tiny. Uzbekistan's got to be bigger. Yeah. Algeria is a big African country. Algeria or South Africa? I'm gonna say South Africa is smaller. Oh, much smaller. Wasn't even something to worry about. Denmark is tiny. Chile, again, it's so narrow, but it's so tall. Netherlands. Serbia or Netherlands. Serbia or Netherlands. Serbia's got to be smaller, right? No. Nowhere near smaller. India and Germany. Germany is smaller. Azerbaijan is tiny. Indonesia is huge. Pakistan is also large, but nowhere near as big as Indonesia. South Africa is big. Guyana is small. But again, even Guyana is not as small as I thought. Okay, last one. Canada is big. Bhutan is smaller than Canada. Small in general. Lithuania is bigger than that. Poland's got to be bigger than Lithuania. Afghanistan is big. Cameroon. Oh no, it's an African one. It's a weird shaped African one too. I'm going to say it's bigger. It was not. So, guys, I hope you liked this. Again, I'm doing this a lot without any sort of editing because it's just so much easier to do that. So, I hope you like it, and I'll see you guys next time I play.